All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I want to talk specifically about the man, the myth, the legend, Alperen Sengun. I mean, this guy is 19 years old, out of Turkey, Turkish MVP last season at 18. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I mean, the resume speaks for itself. The performances are speaking for themselves, and the eye test speaks for themselves. So welcome back to the channel, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I post NBA content every single day. And then also, if you guys are a Houston Rocket fan, go ahead. Down below, I have my Houston Rockets daily channel. I literally post like 2 to 3 times a day on that channel, so check that out. But like I said, today I want to talk about Alperen Sengun because this game is actually going to start here in like an hour or two. The Houston Rockets play the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, and you know, to the normal person, the normal NBA fan, that might not be a big deal. First off, it is, because the Houston Rockets are red hot, so are the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's going to be an action-packed, very, very entertaining basketball game. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter Evan Mobley's out, doesn't matter Eric Gordon's out, but the reason I'm making this video is because Christian Wood is out tonight, and he's also very questionable for tomorrow. I guess the Rockets are on a back-to-back, and it's not looking good for Christian Wood tomorrow. So what does that correlate to? What does that translate into? That means we're going to be seeing more Alperen Sengun. Now, like I said, the Rockets-Cavs game, when this video comes out, because of my Wi-Fi, the game's probably going on, or it's probably about to start, or hell, it might even be over by now. But the reason I want to make this video is because, you know, regardless of Steven Silas, who he decides to, I don't believe we have the starting lineups out tonight quite yet. You know, whether or not, like, because there's, in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't be shocked if Silas started Tice over Sengun tonight. In fact, if I had to bet money on it, and you guys will have to call me out on this because the game's probably going on, or the game's probably over when a lot of you are watching this, I bet you Daniel Tice is starting in replacement for Christian Wood tonight, and Alperen Sengun is not. But regardless, you're man down, and we're going to see more minutes for Sengun, because the other night, what did we see? What did we see against the Atlanta Hawks? By first off, I mean, what a hell of a performance by the Houston Rockets as a unit. They scored 44 points in the fourth quarter, came back on the road for only their second road win of the season, and took down a playoff team, a contender last season, a very legitimate contender last season in the Atlanta Hawks. What did we see, though? We saw, first off, Christian Wood pretty much embarrassed. This is happening a lot. Christian Wood is consistently getting, I mean, he's consistently inconsistent. If there was a way to put it, Christian Wood has consistently been inconsistent this season. And, you know, I'm not trying to rag on Christian Wood this video because he's still putting up like 16 and 11. But what did we see with Alperen Sengun? He closed the game. He closed the game. This is something that probably should have happened a couple of games ago in the loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, when Christian Wood was not only getting embarrassed by Giannis Antetokounmpo, but also couldn't buy a bucket. Alperen Sengun probably should have been the guy Silas leaned on late in the game. And I think he learned from that mistake. I think he learned, like, I should have gone bigger. Christian Wood being the 5 against a team like Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champions, it's not going to get the job done unless we're shooting like 40%, 45, 50% in that fourth quarter from downtown. The job isn't, it's just going to be too hard. It's just going to be too hard. And so with Alperen, I mean, the resume speaks for itself, right? You know, we touched on this earlier in the video. I mean, this man won the Turkish League MVP, and it doesn't matter about your knowledge of the Turkish League. It literally doesn't matter. If we learned one thing, if you can learn one thing from this video, it is that European basketball, overseas basketball, I'm not trying to just say European basketball is superior to everything else, but like just overseas basketball in general, it's intense. It's intense. Like you can't be slacking. And so when the Houston Rockets drafted Alperen, in that trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which, by the way, the Thunder are probably shooting themselves in the foot right now because, I mean, their best player, Shea, right now, I mean, he's going to be like 32 by the time they have all of these first-round draft picks. So the Thunder, they have a good problem. They have a good problem, but they definitely messed up on Alperen Sengun and trading him to us, trading that pick to us for, to the Houston Rockets and where we ended up drafting Alperen. Because if you ask like a European basketball fan, or especially like a Turkish league basketball fan, they were all expecting 100% for Sengun to be a top 10 pick. Like it wasn't even a debate. You know what I'm saying? Like this past draft was more tailored. Outside of Evan Mobley, guards were kind of like the big thing, right? We had Cade Cunningham, we had Jalen Suggs, we had Jalen Green. I mean, even had Scotty Barnes in there. Big men after Evan Mobley were not talked about. Like, they just genuinely were not talked about. So Alperen Sengun, I mean, even just before the draft, was already like a top 5 big man. I mean, he was in some scouts, he was a top 2, top 3. A lot of teams should have listened to that. Because overseas, there's something about the way they play it. It's so intense, man. It's so physical that regardless of where you draft a European player or someone who just played overseas, you should know that you're going to, at the very least, you're going to be getting probably some of the best defense imaginable. And what I mean by that is, if you can't play defense overseas, you are not playing basketball. It's kind of like Coach Popovich with the San Antonio Spurs. If you can't play defense on the Spurs, if you can't play defense overseas, I have bad news for you. You're not playing. Straight up, you're not playing. I live here in Chicago. Zach LaVine was a part of that Olympic squad this past year. And what did we see? Zach LaVine, good enough defender. This year he's taken a huge leap on defense. All right, I said the word HEYY, and Apple viewed that as, hey, let's end this video and let's go to something called SIRI. So anyways, let's stop talking about Zach LaVine here. Alperen tonight is going to get an extended run. He's going to get at least 25 minutes tonight. Alperen's biggest issue has been foul trouble. If you look at his per 36 stats, he's averaging over 15 points per game. He's averaging over 12 rebounds per game. He's getting you at least a block per game as well. Decent shooting statistics, decent three-point stats, decent free throw percentage. His biggest issue is per 36, he fouls out completely fouls out. Another issue is Steven Silas has him on a short leash. It's very different than Jalen Green. If Jalen Green shoots, 3 of 12, 3 of 15, doesn't matter. Keep shooting, Jalen. You're a future. Alperen Sengun comes in, makes a turnover, bam, you're done for the night. I mean, it's not that dramatic, but you make a turnover in the fourth quarter, Alperen, you're done for the night. That's how Steven Silas is treating him. So I don't really understand that. I think our offense should revolve around Alperen, especially when we're dealing with the bench. I think the offense should, maybe not revolve around him, but be a huge vocal point similar to Nikola Jokic, because this guy he's a phenomenal passer. He can shoot and he can create. What more do you need? What I'm trying to say here with the whole European defensive thing is, I mean, these guys across the seas play so intense that a huge issue we had, a huge worry we had with Alperen this coming into this season was defense. We were thinking, like, is he even, defensively, he's so young, so defensively he's going to be able to hold his own? The answer has been very clear as yes. Very, very clear as yes. So if you ask me, 5 years from now, we're going to go back and look at that 2021 draft class, and I don't think Alperen's going to be the best player. Like I'm not trying to say he can't be, but I'm not, putting my money on him being the best player. But I do think he is, like, 100% in my brain. I'm thinking he's going to be the most underrated draft picks of that draft class. So that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, you like daily NBA content, specifically with Houston Rockets, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to hear some comments down below on Alperen Sengun. I imagine most of them are going to be saying, put this man in the starting lineup. We still need to see. We still need more time to see if him and Christian Wood can coexist together. Personally, it's not looking good. Christian Wood statistically at the 4 position is pretty horrible. So, The answer is most likely not, but the good news is that's a really good issue to have. So that's it for today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I got to go watch this Cavs-Rockets game here shortly, and I'll see you guys later tonight.